Hello and welcome back to Office Mix. Mix delivers actionable insights that can be used to access knowledge transfer, evaluate learner satisfaction, and help content authors discover opportunities to optimize their content. In this tutorial, I will give an overview on Mix's analytic capabilities and the breakdown by slides, by visitors, and by exercises. I will explain how to understand key insights gained from each of these views, and lastly, how permissions and sharing impact your analytics. Start by navigating to the Office Mix homepage, mix.office.com, and make sure you're signed in. Once you're signed in, click the My Mixes button from the top navigation bar. This will take you to all of the mixes that you've recorded. Now, if I scroll down, I can find the mix that I'd like to investigate further and click the Analytics button. And here we are. The default view of your analytics is by slides. You can also choose to view by visitors or by exercises, but let's stick with the by slides view for now. You can also choose to export any of this data to Excel by clicking this button here. Each of these views also allow you to sort by time and by version if you've saved several versions of your deck. This by slides view is an analysis of the data on a per slide basis. So here you can see each of the slides in your deck. Here is one of the quiz questions, and you can see the number of visitors, 15 in this case, viewed 26 times. The average time spent on this slide was 29 seconds, and the full slide duration is 3 seconds. So as you scroll down and look at these numbers, it's not unexpected to see a few changes. It's not unexpected to see a drop in visitors and views as you get towards the bottom of your mix. This is especially true in mixes over 6 minutes. Now, you probably noticed that there were more views than visitors on several slides, which means one or more people viewed the slide more than once. So here we have 15 visitors and 21 views. This repeat viewing can be an interesting insight for you as the author. This is especially true if a majority of your viewers watch this slide more than once. You may want to dig deeper into why that might be. Is the content on the slide dense or confusing? Is the audio or video too fast? Did I provide links in the slide that my visitors wanted to access again? Or was this part of my mix so interesting, engaging, or funny that my viewers couldn't get enough? For further insight into exactly who viewed this slide and where these repeat views are coming from, you can click the slide for further details. So here we have a list of all the visitors. You can see here how many times they viewed it and the time spent. You can drill down even further into each visitor by selecting their name. Here you get an all-up summary of the activity for this mix. And to go back, just hit back in the browser. If you want to see a summary of how each visitor compares to one another, you can select the By Visitors view from the first analytics page. Let's go back now and take a look. So now I click By Visitors. This By Visitors view provides a really good summary for your mix. Here, all at the top, the number of slides, visitors, views, any apps you may have included, quizzes and polls, the percentage correct, the average number of quiz attempts, and average number of hints. It's all up here. If you checked the Create Video checkbox when you uploaded your mix from PowerPoint, you can see the number of views and average time spent for your video. It doesn't look like we have one for this mix. Okay, let's now scroll down a bit to get a better view of the visitor statistics section. This is a really great way to see specifically who completed your mix, how they did on quizzes, and overall time spent. This is a great view to look for specific visitors that stand out, who hasn't completed the mix, who struggled with quizzes, that sort of thing. And just like in the previous view, you can click on anyone's name. You can drill down and learn more about where they excelled or where they struggled. Now let's go back and take a quick look at the By Exercises view. If you've included any quizzes or polls in your mix, this view will give you a helpful summary. So here we are. Okay, at the top you can see this is the poll question. Here we have the quiz question. Again, you have the visitors' names and their answers. You can see if someone didn't answer anything at all because it's blank, and you can see if they answered correctly or incorrectly. Now, depending on your mix permissions, you may see the name Anonymous Users listed here under Visitors. Let's dig into what that means a little more. How you set your mix permissions will impact the kind of analytic data you see for your mix. Now remember, you can adjust your permissions and sharing settings anytime from our Mix website. Make sure you're signed in and select My Mixes at the top of the page. The Details button will take you to your permission and sharing settings. Setting your permissions to private will mean that only you can view your mix, and therefore all analytics will contain data about your views. Setting your permissions to organization means that if you've logged in with your Office 365 account, you will see a permission called Organization. If you select this permission option, only those people within your organization will have access to your mix. Since this permission setting requires that visitors sign in before viewing your mix, you will be able to see each visitor name and their related analytics. Setting your permissions to limited will mean that anyone with a link to your mix can watch it once they've signed in. Setting your permissions to unlisted will mean that anyone with a link to your mix can watch it and will not be required to sign in. Lastly, setting your permissions to public will mean that anyone can search for your mix and view it without signing in. There are a couple of important things to note here. Setting your mix permissions to either unlisted or public mean that visitors are not required to sign in to view your mix, and therefore you will not see their names appear in your visitor analytics. Instead, you will see the label Anonymous Users. It's also important to note that a minimum of 10 people need to watch your mix before any views appear in your analytics. Lastly, if you change your permissions from a setting that once required visitor sign-in to an unlisted or public setting, you will see the names of the users and their associated analytics from when they were required to sign in. Congratulations! You now understand Mix's analytic capabilities and how to view your data and gain key insights by slides, by visitors, and by exercises. You also understand how permissions and sharing impact your analytics. Check out more tutorials and discover how Mix can inspire you. Happy mixing!